Welcome back to Understanding Intuition with me, Jessie LeBrock, your intuitive teacher, mentor, and guide. We know from the previous video that intuition is a specific, sacred, and scientific process that you can use to help unlock your highest potentials. Now, this isn't something that I always knew or was aware of, but I have spent thousands of hours practicing, trusting, and refining my skill sets. What I have always done though is totally nerd out on human beliefs and human behavior. I have always been curious as to why people believe what they believe and why they behave the way they behave. Growing up Catholic, I was always fascinated by the origin stories of the Bible. How did people come to believe that in the first place? And what were the alternate versions of the Testament that didn't make it into the final cut? I always sensed that there was something more to these people and these divine miracles than was just on the page. At university, I studied teaching and I majored in performing arts and studies of religion. I loved learning about human behavior, and studying it helped me to understand my own thoughts and behavior patterns. And I've spent years ensuring that I can understand and can control my thoughts and emotions and behavior patterns and beliefs. And no longer do my beliefs and my emotions control me, or what I call my creative field, which I'll teach you about in a later video. So that's how I've come to be an intuitive teacher and mentor, with a goal to empower every client to take control of their life through these tested conscious tools and understanding their subconscious programming and beliefs. What I'm not, though, is a psychic or a medium. So whilst there are many talented open psychics and mediums out there, they can sometimes be people who are very naturally open or connected or exposed to energies, but potentially not have the training to understand specifically where they're pulling this information from, or how to accurately translate it or get more information about an answer that they receive. So for example, if you went to a psychic to ask, should I leave my job? They may get a resounding yes, you should, I can see you leaving your job and I can see you being happy. What they may not be able to pull though is whether you should quit that job in 1 week or 1 month's time. And if you have fulfilled all the requirements or learn all the lessons that you needed to get out of this job yet. And if perhaps you stayed in that job and just held on for 1 more month and rooted to all the lessons and the skills that you needed to learn in that current role, then a better, more profitable, more aligned opportunity may arise in 1 month from now, rather than if you quit it in 1 week's time. So those are the sort of specific details I've spent thousands of hours practicing to ensure that I can give my clients the most accurate answers to their questions. So to begin to break down what I'm actually doing in a session with you and how I pull my intuitive information, let's have a quick science lesson refresher. So all objects on Earth, the tree outside, the chair you're sitting on, your pet, all matter, including you, are made up of tiny particles, subatomic particles, like protons, neutrons, and photons. And each of these particles holds information in a different way. So photons hold information in the form of light. If you've ever had an X-ray or a CT scan, these types of scans are counting photons and translating where different tissues in our bodies absorb varying amounts of energy. So what I have developed is a mastery in understanding how to connect with that information stored in these particles of light that make up who you are in your physical body, as well as your non-physical fields, which you may have heard called things like your soul or your aura or your essence or your spirit. So the ability to read and accurately translate what our bodies and our light bodies or our energetic bodies are telling us is the science of intuition, which everyone has the ability to do with precise training. So until you develop those skills for yourself, I'll be here to help you translate so that we can achieve the highest alignment for you with the soul version of yourself. Align your action with your soul path and achieve happiness, health, and abundance in all areas of your life. I can't wait to get started.